A series of remarks by British officials about the country's future actions in the South China Sea quickly reverberated across the world, prompting headlines that suggested a more muscular role by Britain in the South China Sea. Britain's rising concern about the South China Sea is nothing new. Indeed, British officials have been making clear over the past few years that even though they do want to develop their economic ties with China, they're concerned by Beijing's unlawful actions in the South China Sea. Mr. Boris Johnson said, "One of the first things we will do with the two new colossal aircraft carriers that we've just built is send them on a freedom and navigation operation to this area to vindicate our belief in the rules-based international system and in the freedom of navigation through those waterways, which are absolutely vital for world trade." The reference to colossal aircraft carriers is to Queen Elizabeth-class carriers, that is HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes the power of Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers and examines why China is concerned. Let's get started.
Number 5.
In May 1997, the newly elected Labour government launched the Strategic Defense Review, SDR, which re-evaluated every weapon system, active or in procurement, with the exception of the Eurofighter Typhoon and the Vanguard-class ballistic missile submarines. One of the important outcomes of the report was that the government intended to replace the current carrier force with two larger vessels capable of deploying up to 50 aircraft, including helicopters. This decision was taken to augment the strategic capability of Royal Navy and ultimately led to the development of Queen Elizabeth-class carrier.
Number 4.
The ships are being built by partnership comprising arms makers BAE Systems, Babcock, Thales, and the Ministry of Defense. The Queen Elizabeth-class vessels can be described as supercarriers as they will displace approximately 70,600 tons each. It's over 3 times the displacement of its predecessor, the Invincible class. It's 280 meters in length, which makes it about 2.5 times as large as a football field. The vessels of this class are the largest warships ever built in the United Kingdom and are only elapsed by the American Nimitz and Ford-class supercarriers that have displacement of 100,000 tons.
Number 3.
The power is supplied by two Rolls-Royce Marine Trent MT-30 36 megawatt, 48,000 horsepower gas turbine generator units and 4 Wärtsilä diesel generator sets, two 9 megawatt or 12,000 horsepower and two 11 megawatt or 15,000 horsepower sets. Queen Elizabeth class is capable of speed in excess of 26 knots, that's 48 kilometers per hour or 30 miles per hour. It has a range of 10,000 nautical miles, that's 19,000 kilometers, 12,000 miles. The combination of good speed and excellent range makes this class of carrier a tremendous platform.
Number 2.
The ship's main radar is the BAE Systems and Thales S-1850M. The same is fitted to the Type 45 destroyers for long-range, wide-area search. The S-1850M has a fully automatic detection and track initiation that can track up to 1,000 air targets at a range of around 400 kilometers, it's 250 miles. The BAE Systems Artisan 3D Type 997 Maritime Medium-Range Active Electronically Scanned Array Radar will also be present. BAE claims Artisan can track a target the size of a snooker ball over 20 kilometers, 12 miles away, with a maximum range of 200 kilometers. The two radars complement each other and enable the carrier with an excellent situational awareness.
Number 1.
The Queen Elizabeth class is designed to accommodate 40 aircrafts with a maximum capability of carrying 50 aircrafts. With the retirement of the Harrier in 2010, there remains no carrier-capable fixed-wing aircraft available to the Royal Navy or Royal Air Force. The intended replacement is the F-35B, which will be the main offensive package. Each of the carriers will be carrying 36 to 40 F-35B. The aircraft are expected to begin trials flying from Queen Elizabeth in 2018 with a carrier air wing fully operational by 2020. The 5th generation stealth multi-role fighter is capable of deep strike missions. Other than that, several different combinations of helicopters will be deployed depending on operational needs. These include Merlin HM-2 and HC-4, Wildcat AH-1 and HMA-2, and Merlin Crow's Nest Airborne Early Warning AEW helicopter. Visibly concerned Chinese Foreign Ministry angrily denounced the idea of British supercarriers in South China Sea, saying certain outside countries are determined to stir up trouble in the region. Spokesman Liu Kang said, "Whatever banners these countries or officials claim to uphold, and whatever excuses they claim to have, their track record of bringing chaos and humanitarian disasters through their so-called moral interventions in other parts of the world is enough to make nations and people in the region maintain high vigilance." China has unilaterally built infrastructures and deployed military assets in the disputed territory. Apart from China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan have claims to the region. Last year, Hague International Tribunal dismissed Beijing's claim to the region, saying there was no evidence that China had historically exercised exclusive control over the waters or their resources. The US, UK, Japan, India, and Australia have no claims to the region, but want to have freedom of navigation as it's an important sea route with $5 trillion in trade, half of global merchant shipping, and half of the world's oil shipment passing through it. Britain seems to be hardening on its stand on the issue and is now confronting China directly. Apart from statements, the British response has also included a series of actual steps on the ground. The flying of Royal Air Force Typhoons through the South China Sea announced last year, and their participation in exercises with Japan, South Korea, and Malaysia are some of the moves to be noted. U.S. Navy carrier Strike Group 1 has already started patrols in the South China Sea, led by the Nimitz-class supercarrier USS Carl Vinson. U.S., India, and Japan are participating in Exercise Malabar with direct aim of challenging China's aggressive posturing. The fact that now Britain is taking sides in the dispute will result as a major headache for China. As four major powers, the US, UK, Japan, and India, are now focusing to push back China on several fronts, it remains to be witnessed how China responds. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.